Blackstone Audio presents The Spiral Notebook, the Aurora theater shooter and the epidemic of mass violence committed by American youth, by Stephen and Joyce Singular. This book is read by Tom Taylorson. To Eric. Author's Note. On the morning of July 20th, 2012, we drove to the Aurora apartment of James Holmes and then to the Century 16 movie complex. Several hours earlier at this theater, Holmes had unleashed the largest mass shooting in U.S. history, and news reports of the event were still breaking across the country and around the world. Since his living space and the crime scene were only a few miles from our Denver home, we wanted to see the locations for ourselves, marking the beginning of an investigative journey that would last for the next 2.5 years. The first people we interviewed were Holmes's neighbors, who were standing a few hundred yards from his blocked-off apartment building, now wired with explosives and ready to blow. As the bomb squad worked to defuse the situation, the locals stared at the building in bewilderment and talked about what had happened in the theater. We continued on to Century 16, and in an adjacent parking lot we spoke to moviegoers who'd survived the massacre. Police had just released the witnesses from their custody. Over the next 30 months, we attended all of the significant legal proceedings for Holmes. These included motion hearings, evidentiary hearings, hearings on the Spiral Notebook itself, and those on psychiatric issues, the death penalty, and the debate over criminal sanity versus insanity. Most importantly, in January 2013, we sat through the preliminary hearing, where the prosecution outlined its case against Holmes. We heard 2 full days of police testimony, which helped us to reconstruct a timeline of Holmes's movements leading up to, during, and following the massacre. This process was aided by our own investigations and by numerous journalistic sources, both local and national, devoted to uncovering and tracking Holmes's behavior. In addition to this, we conducted personal interviews with many people and businesses in and around the Anschutz CU campus, most speaking to us under the condition of anonymity. We were able to talk with several staff members in the graduate department of CU, again under the condition of anonymity. None spoke directly about the case itself, but only about Holmes's routine at the school, offering a sense of who he was before he became infamous. We visited Anschutz and retraced Holmes's steps around the campus. We saw his classrooms, his lab, and where he'd had his therapy sessions in the spring of 2012. In 2013 and 2014...
Sample complete. Ready to continue?